Welcome back to Nick's Bricks. I'm Nick, and today we're finishing our Alpha Team Mission Deep Freeze series review with set number 4748, Ogel's Mountain Fortress. Ogel's Mountain Fortress has 414 pieces, taking the highest rank in our series partometer, and was released as part of the initial 2004 wave. After all the searching, satellite tracking, sightings of Ogel's vehicles, and locating and deactivating ice orbs, Alpha Team has finally found Ogel's hidden base. While finding the secluded mountain fortress was one challenge, capturing it is quite another, as we'll see. Let's start our review with a look at the minifigures. Ogel's Mountain Fortress includes a total of 5 minifigures, 4 of whom we've seen before. Arrow makes his second appearance in the series after first being featured in the Mobile Command Center. Dash, last seen in our Blue Eagle vs. Snowcrawler review, returns, and this time he pilots a new Alpha Team vehicle, which we'll have a look at later. The set includes 2 of Ogel's minions to populate the mountain fortress. One of the minions bears a chainsaw blade in transmedium blue. This is the only set in the Mission Deep Freeze sub-theme where the instructions direct us to have a minifigure hold an accessory. All the other accessories were held in place by clips in the vehicles. The transmedium blue chainsaw blades are exclusive to this set, and it includes 3 of them. Our last minifigure is the man himself, Ogel. Ogel is Lego spelled backwards, so named for being the opposite of fun and joy. For those familiar with Lego's Knights Kingdoms 2 series, Ogel is a direct descendant of Vladik, who is the main villain of that theme. I do see the family resemblance. Ogel debuted in Alpha Team's initial theme in sets 6771, Ogel Command Striker, and 6776, Ogel Control Center. Ogel appeared in several sets from the Mission Deep Sea sub-theme, including 4798, Evil Ogel Attack, and 4795, Ogel Underwater Base and AT Sub. Mission Deep Free kept Ogel more reclusive, only releasing him in Ogel's Mountain Fortress, the largest set of the series. Ogel's appearance has not changed much over the course of the 3 themes. He wears a solid black jumpsuit designed to protect him from attack and varying climates. Over the jumpsuit is the armored breastplate with shoulder protection, also in black. This armor piece dates back to 1997, where it debuted as part of the Zotaxian uniform in Lego's UFO series, then again in 1998 with the Insectoids line. Sadly, 2004 was the last time Lego published a set containing this armor piece. As I went through these reviews, I realized Ogel's armor and the minions' bubble helmets both originated from the Insectoids theme. I started incorporating into my own Alpha Team lore that Ogel had come across a crashed Insectoid ship and reversed engineered his orb technology from the wreckage. This also explains the bug-like appearance of Ogel's fleet. Ogel's face print is consistent through each sub-theme, as well as his standard black helmet with large visor in chrome gold. This visor is usually open, showing that Ogel doesn't mind showing the face behind his schemes. The only variation Ogel has had from theme to theme is his left hand. Initially, Ogel had 2 black-gloved hands. Then, in Mission Deep Sea, he had a trans-red hook. I assume he lost his hand in his escape from Alpha Team at the end of the first series, choosing to sacrifice his limb over being caught. In Mission Deep Freeze, Ogel has replaced his trans-red hook with a transmedium blue hook, the presumption being that the transmedium blue hook would function better in the sub-zero climate. These transmedium blue and trans-red hooks are exclusive to Ogel minifigures. Ogel pilots our first side build of the set, the Burrower. This mining vehicle uses 2 chainsaw blades mounted at the front to mine resources and carve deeper into the mountain. The 6 legs on the sides, made from these tail end pieces, provide ground-based mobility, while the rear propeller adds flight to the vehicle. The rear propeller reminds me of the fanboat-style command striker Ogel piloted in the original theme. While I don't particularly like this build, this is a nice callback to the previous Alpha Team series. The instructions show Ogel as the pilot, but I usually have a minion at the controls of the burrower. The second side build is the Alpha 4-wheeler. I was initially dismissive of this vehicle as cannon fodder to the towering fortress, but after building it, I found it's a tough, scrappy little vehicle with a lot of character and is now one of my favorite vehicles in Alpha Team's fleet. This 64-piece vehicle includes all Alpha Team signatures and is a perfect supplemental build to Ogel's Mountain Fortress. At the front is the familiar cockpit, which uses the circular bubble canopy print. Dash is the operator of the Alpha 4-wheeler, and the bubble canopy bears his blue call sign. Opening the canopy to access the interior, we see the control panel made from this 1x2 printed tile. The same printed tile we saw in the Mobile Command Center, which is exclusive to these two sets. We'll also notice the cockpit is not fully enclosed, so Dash is in for a loud ride. Flanking both sides of the cockpit are two trans-orange cones representing blasters which provide the forward battery, albeit a lighter firepower. Lastly, the Alpha 4-wheeler runs on a set of heavily treaded rubber tires, the only Alpha Team vehicle to run on rubber tires in Mission Deep Freeze. Despite its small stature and limited piece count, the Alpha 4-wheeler does have an Alpha mode. Similar to the Tundra Trekker, the 4-wheeler's Alpha mode is activated in a single step by squeezing the wheels together. In one quick motion, the Alpha 4-wheeler becomes the Alpha Artillery Launcher. The Alpha Artillery Launcher uses the same laser cannon we've seen on the Mobile Command Center and Blizzard Blaster as its primary attack. The other vehicles that use the laser cannon are much bigger than the Alpha Artillery Launcher, and thus better equipped to handle the concussion and recoil. To compensate for the recoil, the Alpha Artillery Launcher puts the vehicle's weight on the chassis, lifting the 4 tires off the ground. This prevents the recoil from damaging the vehicle's wheels or suspension, so it can stay mobile when it converts back to 4-wheeler mode. The major disadvantage of this mode is its immobility, and Dash will depend on the quick transformation to make a fast getaway after firing the laser cannon. I imagine Dash speeding into battle, turning sharply while activating Alpha mode, firing the laser cannon at its target, and returning to 4-wheeler mode to speed away before taking enemy fire. While Dash is a talented driver and the Alpha 4-wheeler packs a punch, let's look at what they're up against. Ogel's Mountain Fortress is built on this 32x48 raised baseplate. While the white color and glacier printing is exclusive, the mold itself was used in several sets from 1999 until it retired in 2006. The base plate is symmetrical on both its X and Y axis, forming a central valley, and features 4 pits, one in each corner. Finally, we have Ogel's Mountain Fortress. The skull facade is unmistakable and the first warning to stay away. The fortress is positioned at the end of a long gorge with steep walls on either side, creating a natural bottleneck. This gives Ogel the tactical advantage over any intruders. Starting at the front, we see the familiar marble rock panel pieces placed back to back on these 8x8 plates, also in transmedium blue. These 2 ice block builds are placed over the front pits of the raised base plate. The instructions direct us to place Arrow in the right ice block, confirming he's been captured by Ogel's forces, but how did Arrow end up frozen in the ice? At the top of the fortress are these 2 ice orbs positioned in front of actuator claws. When triggered, the claws move forward, pushing the ice orbs off the edge, bombarding the intruders below. It seems Arrow came across the mountain fortress and fell victim to Ogel's defenses. The actuators are made from the bionicle claws we've seen throughout the series, but this bionicle flame sword is brand new to the Mission Deep Freeze sets. 4 varying antennas in transmedium blue are mounted across the fortress. These are used as part of Ogel's cloaking technology to jam and block Alpha Team's satellites from picking up the heat bloom and energy signatures emitting from the fortress. Positioned at the mouth of the skull is the main gate. Made from 4 bionicle flame sword pieces, the gate will not open from the front or the back when the lock is engaged. So Alpha Team needs to use its firepower to disengage the lock. Enter Dash and the Alpha Artillery Launcher. Just above the gate is this red skull sticker applied to a 2x2 tile. This is the only sticker in the set. Scanning this area with the trans-red section of the printed bubble canopy, the red reveal shows a targeting crosshair, giving Dash his target. Using the Alpha Artillery Launcher, Dash lands a direct hit on the lock, disabling it, forcing the gate to rise and allowing access into the fort. This is a fun play-action feature of Ogel's Mountain Fortress, although it is a small target and needs to be hit precisely in order to activate. Swinging around to the back, we'll see the interior details. While Ogel's Mountain Fortress is indeed fortified, it is essentially a factory, busily producing the ice orbs needed to accomplish Ogel's objectives. At the very top, we see the back of the claw actuators used to drop the ice orbs on the would-be invaders outside. Centered at the top is this modular workstation complete with 2 printed pieces. The oval screen and control print we've seen on Ogel's vehicles, and a modern keyboard print on a 1x2 tile in white. This workstation would be used by Ogel or his super minion to find strategic areas of the tundra for ice orb placement. The next level down consists of 2 platforms connected by a narrow catwalk with railing. The catwalk is the area where Ogel's minions access the controls for the gate. The 2 platforms are positioned at the base of the skull's eye sockets, effectively turning them into observation windows. Minions use this area to spot incoming attackers, while Ogel uses it to stare menacingly at the horizon. The remaining interior features are the factory floor, which includes the most prominent feature of the interior, the crane. The crane is positioned on this scaffolding frame and mounted on a 4x4 turntable, allowing for rotation. The arm is made of 3 1x6 bricks with ratchet attachment on the ends. These segments provide the crane's extension and vertical positioning of its claw. Speaking of which, 2 bionicle claw pieces set opposite of each other create a 4-prong grip perfect for picking up the round, smooth surfaces of Ogel's ice orbs. The claw is held to the crane arm by a black hinged cylinder, allowing the claw to rotate. The second modular station, positioned just below the skull socket observation deck, is used to produce ice orb cores. Once the core is complete, it's placed into this gamma box where it's lightly radiated, causing the internal chemicals to emit their frozen emanations. This process arms the ice orb core. The core is then moved to the pit where it's placed in its casing and the ice orb's construction is complete. The completed ice orb is then moved by crane arm to the opposite platform where it's loaded into vehicles ready to distribute it to its designated location, as directed by Ogel or his lieutenant, the Super Minion. With the bustling productivity of the interior and the defensive capabilities of the exterior, it may be impossible for Alpha Team to capture Ogel's Mountain Fortress. How does the story of Alpha Team Mission Deep Freeze end? Does Alpha Team capture the Mountain Fortress and Ogel, putting an end to his reign of terror? Do Ogel and his minions freeze Alpha Team and move to conquer the rest of the world? Does Alpha Team seize the Mountain Fortress while Ogel escapes to plan and execute another diabolical scheme? That's up to the LEGO Maniacs to decide. While Alpha Team wouldn't see another sub-theme, its influence lived on in other LEGO themes, including 2008's Agents and 2014's Ultra Agents. I enjoyed this series in 2004, and the build techniques have held up well over the past 2 decades. The Alpha Mode transformations are still the highlight of the series, and LEGO's lore makes Ogel an interesting villain. I hope you've enjoyed our series review of Alpha Team Mission Deep Freeze, and hope you'll join us when we move from the icy tundra to the sandy dunes with our series review of LEGO's Pharaoh's Quest from 2011. I have not built any of the sets from this theme before, and I'm excited to dive right in. So until then, this has been Nick with Nick's Bricks. Thank you for watching, and remember, build, disassemble, repeat.